2 minutes prior to them drafting him, they were like, one thing that this team doesn't need is another young wide receiver. And sure enough, they go out and draft a young wide receiver. But I have them going, between the 9 and 10, 10 and 11 wins. They're going to be a team that is going to be in the hunt for the wild card or for the hunt for the top in the division, because I think you're right. I don't foresee another 15-2 season. Or another 14-3 second place team. That was wild. But let's go to, man, who do I want to go to? Let's go to the Detroit Lions. I was maybe thinking about Vikings, but let's go to the Detroit Lions, because this team, 15-2 last year, every year since Dan Campbell has taken over, they have gotten better, both in the win column and in the talent that they have on the field. And it seems like that their players that they have accumulated over the years have gotten better as well with the Dan Campbell, team build. Now, last year, they had 16 players, Carlos, on injured reserve. That is,
they had a football team.
The worst luck by far. And I'm pretty sure like 90% of those players were from the defense. I mean, they were pulling guys off the street at the end of the year. They were like, hey, free tryouts, like just bring your own gear and, let's see what you can do, because they definitely got hit with an injury bug last year that continued to haunt them throughout the year. And then it was a heartbreaking loss in the divisional round against the surprising electric Jaden Daniels Washington Commanders team last year. So, but they're back. They're healthy, right? Dan Campbell is still there. Jameson Williams finally had a good year last year, right? He's been a guy who's been, he's talented, but he finally produced. He got 1,000 yards last year. Now John Morton is the new head offensive coordinator. I almost said head coach. He's the offensive coordinator, so he's taking over Ben Johnson.
Breaking news.
Yeah, right. You heard it first here. But John Morton, coming from Denver, he was the passing game coordinator for the Denver Broncos last year. And if you remember, Bo Nix, rookie quarterback, had a very successful rookie year last year with John Morton helping him run the passing game. So, will it be Ben Johnson? No, probably not. Those are some very big shoes to fill. But I don't see this team taking too far of a step back. They're a gritty team. They even showed that if it was any other team in the NFL and they had 16 players on IR, I don't even know if they would be 15-2 or make the playoffs. So the fact, this team is the identity of Detroit. They're gritty. They're just hard-nosed. They're working people. And they've taken on the identity of that city and the identity of Dan Campbell. I love this team. It's been an electric team. I still think that they're the kings of the North until someone dethrones them. But how do you feel about the Detroit Lions?
They embody their head coach, and I don't know if you put all the head coaches in a octagon, that guy's coming out victorious. He's a nut.
Yeah,
but he pushes his team. He's everything you're looking for in a leader, and he gets every ounce of football out of his players. But I'm curious to see they lose their OC and their DC. They lose Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn.
Yes.
So they're gonna. I'm curious to see how that works. They promote with Shepard for their defense, and then they bring in Morton from Denver, which is a little interesting to me. But I'm assuming it's because he has the same philosophy as Ben Johnson, because they've got great pieces there. They still got St. Brown, the two-headed monster backfield with Gibbs and Montgomery, Laporta. Williams is coming into his own. My only thing with them on offense, they lose a huge piece on that offensive line with Frank Ragnow just retiring after 7 years out of the blue. He is the leader of the offensive line. I get it. They got Penei Swell, but Frank Ragnow, arguably the best center in football. But Philly was able to get past it. They lose Kelsey. They're able to get past it. So let's see how that works for them. And you're right. The defense has to stay healthy at some point, because they're going to need it. Their secondary could be extremely scary. I feel like they have one of the top 3 duo safeties, and arguably you could argue for the best with Branch and Kirby Joseph at safety. And if Teron Arnold can take his second year leap and get better, now he's got a year of football in him and a whole off season. I think they can do very well. I mean, they just got to stay healthy, man. But I feel like they need a pass rusher. They need somebody on the other side to help Hutchinson out. I think that's all they're really missing. They just need somebody else that can get after the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean Hutchinson obviously, is a beast coming off the edge there, but we have to see what it's going to look like after he comes back from the injury, because the injury that he had was a serious injury. It's a lower body injury. Your position is an explosive position coming off of the edge, so I think Hutchinson will bounce back though. I don't have any doubt about it, but I do think that added help on the opposite side of him is, definitely probably needed in today's NFL. I mean, look at the Super Bowl winners of the past, especially just most recently, the Philadelphia Eagles. They were able to get after the quarterback, with literally the front four. So if you are able to do that, you're going to be able to stop these high-powered offenses that are running so much passing games now. I mean, that's just the NFL. As much love as the running backs got last year, they did start to get love again. But it's still a pass-heavy league. These offensive coordinators, they're the younger regime now, right? They're not the hard-nosed. They're not like the, hey, ground and pound kind of, thought process. They are, let's air it out. Let's make these explosive plays. That's why almost every team in the NFL has speed on the outside. Almost every team, right? If not in multiple positions. So it's going to be interesting. They have a pretty favorable schedule.
They have.
So
have you seen their road schedule?
The road schedule
lose every road game. There's a possibility.
The schedule is pretty rough, but
they got the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Rams, the Commanders, the Eagles, and I think the Bengals. Now that might be one of the easier ones because they don't play defense up there, but they got like a murderer's row and then they have their division, but we'll see. I'm really curious to see what the offense does because you got a guy coming in. He's definitely not going to repeat Ben Johnson because he wants to put his stamp on there. Like, is he going to mess up Jared Goff? Goff flourished under Ben Johnson, just got better and better. Like, this guy comes in and tinkers a little too much. Like, it'll answer my question. Was Jared Goff a product of Ben Johnson, or is just Jared Goff a good quarterback now? So,
well, let's not forget Jared Goff did go to the Super Bowl with the Rams. Now, it was with Sean.
Yeah, and that's enough.
So it was with Sean McVay though. So
that's
there is an asterisk still there.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting because now Goff is like he's the old guy now in a sense, and now is he at that point in his career like where Rodgers and them are basically he's calling the play, but Rodgers is like, I'm gonna shake that off. Like, are we in that stage? And I'm curious to see if he still uses Montgomery like he did with Ben Johnson. Like he's kind of the hammer, and then or is Gibbs gonna get most of the playing time? Like, how's that gonna work?
I think you leave that two-headed monster, continue to have it flourish in whatever system you make, because Montgomery, I don't know how many yards he had. I think he had like 700 or something like that, but he had like 12 touchdowns. So, I mean, it's like continue to get the guy the ball. I just really like this team. I know that their road schedule is hard, but I think they can be like a 12, 13, maybe even 14 win team. 14 is kind of stretching it, but I don't see them taking a turn down. I mean, every year with Dan Campbell, they have gotten better.
I see them like a 12-win team. I think that road schedule, just look at the Ravens now, man. That team is sick.
The Ravens secondary is stupid.
Ridiculous. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. The Commanders, they're doing their thing. And then you got the Super Bowl champions, and then the Bengals are going to be tough on them. Like, that's going to be a tough game.
That's going to be a shootout game. It's going to have to be. I
Yeah.
mean,
And then you got Matthew Stafford. He's playing against his old team. Of course, you want to win that game, and that team got better. I mean, that
the
team was
Rams
better.
did get better. The
So
Rams did get better.
See, a worst case scenario for them is probably 10 wins. I think that's their floor, but I think their ceiling is probably around 12 games. And I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but 10 and 7 and 12 and 5 are a huge difference. You're talking like wild card and first round bye, but I still think there's a division front runner here. I mean, it's theirs literally to lose, but I think they'll take this division.
Yeah, they're the Kings until someone dethrones them for sure.